All right, welcome everyone into another midweek session of the Hooley Brothers podcast, episode number 50, the big 5-0 for us. The Mookie Betts, the Mike Vrabel edition. Got any more?
I was thinking Mookie.
Yeah. Two Patriots, though, Ninko.
What?
Probably the big ones, those three. But yeah, here we are, episode 50. It's low-key a milestone for us here. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, so I guess we'll start again as we do with these midweek shows. We'll start with football recap, and we'll wrap up with some baseball as we're getting towards the end of this pennant race here. And we'll start with the college games on Saturday. I know we recorded just before noon on last Saturday before the games kind of got underway. I did have a wedding that day and night, so did not catch much of the action. Definitely had a great time though. But yeah, we'll kind of just go in. We'll recap some of the, just kind of, give a quick rundown of what happened there. One that I briefly got to tune on, Mike, while I basically brought my laptop to the hotel. That's when I did the uploading and everything, got everything up online. And when it's almost done, we were getting ready. We were playing music, but I put the Cincinnati, Indiana game on for a while. It looked like it was close there for a little bit. Indiana was kind of giving him a run, but since he was able to pull away late in that one.
I was listening, so I was looking at the slate myself. What game were you talking about?
Okay, all right. Well, we'll start over again. I said the one I was able to watch in the hotel after I uploaded was the Cincinnati, Indiana game.
Oh yes,
Looked tight for a little while, but the Bearcats were able to pull away late.
Yeah, Indiana kind of really dominated the first half of the game. They were up about 14-0, and then after that it was kind of the Bearcats. They really kind of flipped the script and were able to go up in the fourth quarter for a nice 15 points, and that was the difference maker. Again, I was kind of like all around. It kind of was like I was tracking the scores, but not really watching. So I kind of got all the game trends from like the noon games during my fiasco of a Saturday after we recorded.
Yeah. Mike definitely had quite the interesting Saturday, having to put in some extra man hours at the new gig, but ended up just going out with the boys anyway. But yeah, so that was again one that kind of caught my eye, just kind of scrolling through. Looks like Nebraska kept it pretty close with Oklahoma, which is good news if you're Oklahoma, or good news if you're Nebraska, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, it was just a lot of like them not being able to put away. It was like 7-0 at the half. It was just like a lot of like not being able to get past midfield for Oklahoma, getting the ball back. It was like it seemed like their offense wasn't really clicking at all. It's gonna seem like just wasn't really that much. Like Rattler only had 214 yards on 24-34. Like that's not going to cut it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Again, they were able to get the win, which is always better than nothing. But yeah, definitely could have been a lot more convincing if you're an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah, I think the three teams that probably looked the most impressive was West Virginia beating ranked 15 Virginia.
Yeah, saw that.
They were a 2-point favorite, so like I know they're no slouch, but like being a favorite at home against a ranked
team, yeah,
is something. And then you got to go to the two teams in Michigan, with Michigan absolutely clobbering Northern Illinois, and then
as they should.
Yeah, I mean, it was 63-3 through three quarters. Like that's,
right, yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, no, it's so impressive, but yeah.
and then Michigan State going down to Miami and beating up the U.
Yeah, they're never really going to be back, are they?
Yeah,
they're becoming the new Texas. Well, Texas still is Texas, but they're also becoming the new Texas.
Oh, I think you put 2 games on the schedule to kind of show their back, but they weren't.
No, very much not.
It was like the week before. Who did they play? Appalachian State. They won by 2.
Yeah, that's a game they won, right? And then, yeah, obviously open up against Bama was no easy task, but yeah, the U all the way not back. And also, just I get another note on there. 16 with Coastal Carolina, able to hold off Buffalo in their trip up there. So that non-power conference team trying to keep the undefeated streak going there.
Trap game for them.
What's that?
Trap game for them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, because who do they have next week? It's feed me.
The flagship.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, I had no idea, man. I don't know Coastal Carolina's week 4 schedule.
Hey, I mean, UMass has covered back-to-back weeks now, so
It's true. I mean,
36
maybe
fight. Oh, Heath Hembry.
maybe that's the slow play. Who's he pitching for?
That's
Oh, is he? I saw Sox driven two more.
yeah.
Or is he third anyways? Is that just having a night?
Yeah.
But
Third place game.
what would you say?
Good for my third place game.
Yeah, I kind of stopped. I got eliminated last over the weekend too. I'm kind of just out. I'm like, you know what? I just had to set the lineup for the week. Whatever. We'll see what happens.
Well, I can kind of get my money back from the entry.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Went, so.
Yeah, other than that, Notre Dame took care of business against Purdue. It's going down here. The game that actually turned out to be pretty good. I mean, paper had the bill to do it, but what did you say?
I didn't have the cojones to put my money where my mouth was, but I said, I don't know. I think Florida's
No, I think I threw on. I was like literally sitting at my table at the wedding, and I saw there was like 6 seconds left or whatever it was, and I did throw on that last play there that came up a little short, but obviously there's no such things as moral victories, especially in college football where you can't really lose. But I mean, you hung with again the best team in the country there for Florida at home. I get 2-point game, so I don't know, some positives there to build on, but I mean,
heck, they coming up on the 16th, they have to go to LSU. I mean, LSU did UCLA, but they're still preseason ranked. And way after that, they host Georgia. So if they went out, they're still at 11th. They didn't fall with their loss to Alabama. So like they're still in the mix if they went out to be a one-loss SEC team with some help.
I mean, because think about what winning out means. That's you're playing Florida or playing Alabama again, so that would mean you beat them again. So yeah, I think in that instance, if they do run the table, your one loss is 2 points against Bama, you split against them. And I know we keep going ahead so much, and it's so easy to do with college football, but especially if Bama runs the table at that point, you got to think that's both teams would get in that scenario, which is a little nuts because of all everything going on. But I mean, you see Clemson struggling all the way down at 9. Even the games they're winning, they just won by I think we had the score up. I forget what it was, but was it 14-8? I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, not that all impressive there. So I think you got to think even. Yeah, I don't know if things go unless Clemson starts really piling on against teams, then in that scenario, I think if it comes down to it, I mean, all three could get in depending on how everything else shapes out, especially the Ohio State going down. But I think you could definitely see Bama and Florida getting in. But obviously, tough task, like you say, coming up with Georgia because they're still number 2 in the country, and a lot would have to go wrong there. But I agree. If you're Florida and you can run the table, which is again really hard, and then beat Bama that second time in the championship game, still have a shot. But I think encouraging to only lose by 2 because the games like this have come up before very recently with Alabama, and it's just not quite there. And again, you still weren't quite there, but again, I think 2 points and really having a shot all the way down to the end really is a sign of good things against the defending champs and the powerhouse that is Alabama. But kind of just going through the rest of the slate here. Again, I know. So we talked about Clemson not really being able to put up points. Everyone else kind of just took care of business here. If you go through the other teams, then we get into the late games there, and again, one that I obviously didn't get to see because of the situation, but seemed to be pretty close. And kind of at least one wild thing that happened was Penn State able to hold off Auburn 28-20 in that one in Happy Valley. And again, I didn't get to catch most of it, but how about that play? Oh wait, what am I getting right now?
The whiteout.
What's that? The whiteout, right? 7-6 now. 7-6 in the whiteout. So yeah, I mean, obviously an impressive win against an SEC school. I feel like a lot of those matchups, if you get to maybe the top 20-ish matchup, and I know it was at 10-22. Usually the SEC still they kind of find a way to edge it out, but Auburn not able to go in, Penn State able to hold them off despite getting really kind of screwed over by the refs at one point. Did you catch that?
Yeah, they punted on 3rd down.
Yeah. We'll get to the Browns later on in their situation. But kind of had their hand forced. James Franklin not happy. They ran 2 plays, and then it was showing as 4th down. Refs weren't having it, so they had to punt it on 3rd down, essentially. So able to overcome that. I would hate for a situation like that to ever cost someone the game. So once I think I saw that first before we knew what the score was, and then I did see that they did win. So all right, I don't feel as bad then.
I think they could get a break later on. They're up by 1, and they had. I forget. I didn't know what down in the distance was, but I know it's by the goal line. and they got a pretty cheap targeting penalty against them, which probably gave them a first and goal, and they were able to punch it in later on that drive.
Makeup call, yeah.
I'm not sure if that was third down where like that hit
Hmm.
forced into a field goal, and then we're looking at a 4-point game to an 8-point game again. No one scored, but
Yeah, but yeah, bit of a makeup call there.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, impressive win for Penn State, and again, Big Ten now with Ohio State vulnerable with that one loss. This could be a huge opportunity for Penn State now at the 10 spot here. So obviously a long way to go, but is it then versus Ohio State?
Yeah, and actually, the Penn State's now up to 6. Ohio State's on the 10, and then maybe
in what ranking?
Ohio State lost. Remember?
No, but I Penn State at 10. You said 7. I thought.
So Penn State at 6.
You have them ranked 6th.
They were 10th when they played Auburn, but the new rankings came out.
I'm an idiot. I'm looking at the scoreboard from last week. Yeah. I think what confused me was like, oh, Florida didn't move. They're still at 11. So I was assuming I was seeing the same rankings there. So yeah. Okay, yeah, Penn State up to 6. That is huge. So thanks for catching me there, Mike.
About the probably more important game on October 9th when they had to go to Iowa. That's 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'm seeing 5, 6 now. Yeah, that is crazy. So I was excited. We have a lot of good games this year.
Yeah, Penn State's got a loaded schedule because I mean, like they beat Wisconsin, they beat Auburn, and they still have at Iowa, at Ohio State, home against Michigan, at Michigan State.
Yeah,
and they already had to go to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Pasta? Pasta's on the monster.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's wearing a Bedazzled jacket.
Of course.
Jacket that's just Boston Red Sox in the back.
You got to wonder though. It's like to a certain point, like we might only have when it's all said and done. It's funny because the Penn State or Big Ten now with Ohio State losing, like they're not guaranteed to have an undefeated team. It's like you said, kind of a loaded schedule there for all of them. Someone's going to lose that Iowa Penn State game, and you'll say Penn State wins that game, and then lose to Ohio State. You have 3 1-loss teams there. It could get really.
Yeah, we'll be like, do you root? I was like, oh, but do you root for Iowa at that point? But if I'm like actually like looking at it, it was like Iowa still has to play Wisconsin again. They still got to play. Oh, that's pretty much the only ranked team they have left. Iowa could have a little bit of a cakewalk. No, they beat in Indiana, but at the same time, you know, like can Michigan get the monkey off their back this year? Can Michigan State keep this hot race going? So
yeah, absolutely. So we got some exciting races. I think between the SEC and the Big Ten races, we'll have a lot, and maybe even some other conferences as well. But it's going to be interesting just to see how those shape out throughout the rest of the season, with a lot of these teams having to face each other down the stretch. And yeah, hopefully some good games. I know early on, it's like you get teased a little bit with that week 1 schedule with some of the marquee matchups. Even something like a Penn State Auburn that's like, or Alabama Florida, like again they kind of get buried. Like, but I think we'll have some good ones coming forward too once we get into actual the meat of the conference schedule here. So definitely excited for that down the stretch. Like I said, we'll certainly get more clear playoff pictures as we kind of go down the stretch here. But I was kind of just wrapping up. I think the only other note that I
really need to get into October to get those games, because in the first week in October you got Michigan, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Georgia, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Alabama, and the week after that it's Alabama, A&M, Georgia, Auburn, Penn State, Iowa State, Arkansas, Ole Miss. Those are going to be 2 amazing weeks of football.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I mean this week, Mike, we got 2 good ones in the schedule, I'd say. Well, one maybe a little better than Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and then A&M, Arkansas. So that'll be a really good one as well. So A&M, I always forget about A&M in the SEC.
Cool. We're just going to really have to rely on West Virginia to probably be the give Oklahoma a scare at home to have any sort of primetime action. But before we forget, on week 3, the NCAA season, I gotta say BYU beat Herm's boys. I know you said you were going to home. And then you talk about Fresno State. Do you see what they did?
No, I don't know if I did. Again, I was kind of buried on the.
I mean,
UCLA. Oh, wanted to beat Chip Kelly, huh?
At UCLA, even just looking, it was kind of quite the wild fourth quarter. UCLA was down 9. Then they had 13 unanswered, gave up a touchdown with 3 minutes left, scored the go ahead to go up 37-33 at 54 seconds left, and Fresno State was able to get downfield in about 40 seconds and score the game winning touchdown. If I'm bad radio here, but if you can just look at that win probability chart.
Oh man, yeah, right. Blue right at the very end there, and then changes over to red. Yeah, that's crazy.
So my mad FLC didn't watch this game, but it was probably on the Pac-12 network, which I don't have.
We don't?
Is it not on YouTube TV? I don't know. I think I'm just used to cable.
You were what?
I'm just so used to the cable life.
We might, especially when I added Red Zone. I don't know. We'll have to take a look. I still might not. I'll have to take. Let's put a pin in that. We'll circle back.
Cool.
But yeah, no, those I think were too good or too interesting late night outcomes. Yeah, big day for the power conferences. Bad day for the Pac-12 for those two late games there. So, yeah, awesome. So I think again, like you said, we have a couple decent games this weekend. We'll get a bit more into that on our preview if you're able to squeeze one in at some point. But yeah, the season's still young. We have a lot to kind of shake out here. We've seen some upsets already. Some compelling games, but like you said, Michael, a lot to go between both of these, or between really all these conferences going down the stretch, and we'll see some good matchups as we get really into the meat of things with the October and November schedules coming up. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all I had for college for now. Again, kind of crazy to see Iowa and Penn State both up so high, but still Bama and Georgia sitting atop the rankings at the moment here. So, any other notes there, Mike? Before we move on to the pros.
Oh.
I guess the only thing I had, BC went at the Temple with Crosell. Let's get Gross, keep it going. We got Mizzou here on Saturday, trying to go to that game, noon kickoff there. So I haven't been to a game since 2019. Really trying to make that work, and excited to be back. So yeah, hopefully BC can keep it going even despite being on their backup quarterback. But as we shift over to the NFL, I know we already kind of talked about the Giants-Washington games that happened on Thursday night. We talked a bit on Saturday, so we'll get kind of right into the Sunday slate here. And since there are one, Mike, why don't we just start with the hometown team? The Pats were able to go into the Meadowlands, win that game 25-6. Big Nick Folk day. Obviously putting through, trying to do math here, was it 6 field goals and broke the record for most consecutive field goals made for a kicker. So we've had decades straight of Adam Vinatieri and Gostowski, who were around for so long and so successful with the franchise. Yet Nick Folk has our all-time record for consecutive field goals made.
Yeah, I mean, I think the change in quarterback play definitely helped us out, because there's probably been a lot of times where Brady punches and stuff kind of in the red zone.
Yeah,
that'll put some field goals, and so I don't remember he's at some that Jets kick on Monday Night Football last year.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of his field goals. I'm like, yeah, it's like 40. He should hit this. I'm not usually impressed by it. He just hasn't.
Right. Right. Versus the last two guys, less of a rhythm. Maybe when we do go to him, it's like a 55-yarder, so it doesn't quite go through. But either way, it's funny. I know I've been joking and saying that I still think Nick Folk was one of our best players last year, just because it was such a down year offensively. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of things to say about this game, and I guess we'll get to the Pat side in a minute. But man, what a horrendous, brutal outing from Zach Wilson there on Sunday.
Yeah, that was not good.
No. Again, as you know, I was kind of running late coming back from the wedding. We were meeting at our parents' place. So I was getting a lot on the radio, and it sounded almost funnier, just like because you have no idea what's going to happen, and just hearing Sosi and Zolak go good nuts. I think I heard 3 picks in the car by myself. I only saw the 4th one at home. So
yeah, picks to start. So
what'd you say?
He's over 2 picks to start. So
yeah, I know the 3rd one still happened. Was in the car too, but. It's so wild too. I know about the Patriots tweet. I don't think I even read it the right way the first time, but did you see that the JC Jackson one?
Not Mr. INT.
Yeah, I actually read it as obviously because I'm just like a Pats fan. Like, they obviously meant JC Jackson's Mr. like getting an INT, but I could see how it's easily misconstrued about Mr. INT striking again, meaning the one who throws them, Zach Wilson. Obviously had 4 on the day, but JC had 2, 3 on the season already, so. He's kind of back to his usual stuff there, and yeah, it's it's tough because obviously, yeah, Wilson had a tough game, but they were able to really run on us a little bit. I don't know why they didn't do that more, especially with Wilson struggling so much. So it's a game that was 25-6, but you really, when you think about, the lack of execution in the red zone and how many turnovers did happen, it almost seemed like a game that the Patriots should have won by even more
Yeah, I think it was kind of like they kind of played down to their competition a little bit.
there.
So
Yeah.
it just really stinks that there's two winnable games there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they got one, but yeah, they definitely should have won Miami, especially after seeing, and I know Tua was out, but just seeing Buffalo just absolutely handed to him. And we'll get to that in a bit there. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like, and I don't know. I think I'm seeing both. Again, I said this last week too. Both ends of the spectrum with the Mac Jones. I think he's just been fine. Like I think they really got the handcuffs on him. I don't think it's necessarily good or bad, but I just feel like he's not really doing anything. Right? It just seems like he's throwing like 5 yard out routes or slant routes or anything like that. He's not really pushing it down the field. He's been a few, you know, mind lapses, but none of them really come back to bite them in the ass. So again, overall not too bad, but I don't know. I would just like to see more of him going forward because I think he's capable of more. So I don't know. It seems like we haven't really seen much out of him yet.
Yeah, it's more like an incomplete grade, which is going to be pretty weird to see in about 2 weeks when
Yeah, yeah,
like because he doesn't know how to play from behind yet.
yeah. Well, I mean, kind of in the Miami game, and we were losing at a few different points in that.
But
And
behind, I mean, like multiple scores and
yeah,
like,
that's true.
we had the ball at like the 20-yard line, down by 1 point,
Yeah,
minutes left. It wasn't like, okay, we're down by a touchdown, we can run our offense, and
hmm
the third quarter
yeah,
touchdown is nothing. So
yeah,
I mean, not
absolutely.
sad. I meant like not like the sad you like come from behind, and more of like, okay, we have to change up to like
hmm
the game plan a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the O line's gotta get a lot better too, and that's kind of the other thing. It's they've been able to run it okay, but I mean, like, yeah, I feel like Mac's getting pressured all the time. I mean, and again, I was listening to again some of Bedard today too. Just like, I mean, the right tackle spot was brutal between Trent Brown. Then when he goes down, it was blanking on his name. The guy they just traded for. But anyway, and then Win on the left side too. Just it seems like he's not working out. It just seems like something's not quite working on the offensive line, and that's obviously affecting Jones as well.
Yeah, actually, it's more. I think I see it more in the passing game too. Because like the run game is like pretty good. It's just more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely seems like the pass protection more than anything. But yeah, I don't know. Again, they win 25-6 at the end of the day, get their first win of the season, first win from Mac Jones. But again, just one touchdown in that game. It was a lot of Nick Folk. So yeah, we'll see what happens next week. We got Jameis coming in town, who and you know what? Just transition to that game just while we were here. So yeah, they obviously come out strong 38-3 versus the Packers in week one. I get a huge win for them, but yeah, just the Panthers really took it to them. I'm in a conundrum this week. We'll get to the Thursday night game later on here, but Panthers have looked strong so far. Again, they faced the Jets week one, but I mean the Saints team that did light it up in week one, a pretty convincing win, 26-7 here to start the season 2-0.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those games where Panthers marched down the field in the first possession, scored, and then kind of just like again when Pats are playing, you're secondarily watching red zone, and we're still both coming to the Barons place, and
Yeah.
I'm also doing a little work on the side. It's kind of one of those things where like, what's going on in this game? Like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like the Jameis could not get the ball rolling. I know they had some people out, some coaching staff out to
Yeah, that's true.
kind of just seemed like just like an effort that wasn't there. And Jameis had some picks, but I think they're more the punts. So like,
One of them was at least.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Darnold seems to be like okay, like he's not special, but he's like got the Jets stink off him to be like okay, like and a good
Yeah.
good offensive coach. I mean, he's not with Adam Gase. He's with Mo, who seems to
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady too. Like he has
Yeah.
the stuff there. I mean, like heck, like not no offense to this person, he's probably pretty good, but like BJ Walker was kind of slinging it last year. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I know he had to come in for Bridgewater a few times. What was that?
Polar Bear just crushed one off drunk ball.
Oh God, really? What's the score now?
6-3 was the solo shot.
Okay, all right. But yeah, no, you bring up a good point there. Yeah, it just seems like again, it's so funny because I think these days I talk about how quarterbacks get given up on too easily, but I think Darnold might have just got out of there just in time. He wasn't completely ruined yet, and
Yeah,
he came out so young too that
yeah,
yeah, maybe he just needed to change the scenery.
like 24 now, if that.
Yeah, right. Like yeah, he came out at 21, so yeah, it was 3 years ago exactly. So yeah, I mean, you like to get that Jets stink off you. You're in a normal system. You got a couple young coaches there with I guess Matt Rule and then Joe Brady as your OC. So again, only 2 weeks in, we'll have to see how things go, but definitely seems a lot better than he did really ever in New York. So yeah, we'll see if maybe he benefits from this whole Zach Wilson thing more than Wilson does. But yeah, like you said, Jameis, not the best outing. We had a great one in week one. We'll see how things even out. Obviously conflicted because I love Jameis, but coming to the town next weekend. So I think it was a good transition because we kind of saw parallels between both teams. We got the Saints coming in next weekend, and then also the whole Panthers Jets thing with Darnold and Wilson.
Yeah,
So,
and it's going to be interesting. Like, are the Panthers going to be 3-0?
yeah, with facing Mills Mafia on Thursday night. I think it'll be 3-0, but yeah, the only thing
transition.
Yeah. Well, that's into next week. So I guess you're fine. We'll do Texans Browns then. How about that?
Yeah.
So the Browns are able to come back after their crushing week one loss versus the Chiefs, a game that they had but lost kind of at the end there. And Tyrod Taylor, poor guy, he cannot catch a break. He keeps getting these 1-year deals, these chances while oftentimes while someone was developing, and he gets punctured in the lung last year. Gets beat up in this one here.
2018.
Yeah, Baker.
This is a quarter in week 3. Gets taken out. 2020. Punctured lung. Week 2. Taken out. Because that was week 3.
Yeah.
Week 2. He's cooking through 6 quarters. The Texans were winning that game for a little bit.
And yeah. The Browns didn't cover.
And taken out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like the wheels sort of fell off on the Texans when the rookie Mills had to come in, but
yeah, I don't know. It does. Where was I? Can't even. I'm blanking now. Where was Tyrod last year? Do we know?
Chargers. You mean 19?
He was. Oh my God, no. Yeah, 19. Was he anyway? Yeah. Was he still with the? No, he wasn't still with the Browns, was he?
Let me see. Keep talking.
Yeah. these are the answers I need to have. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where Baker was very efficient, 19 to 21, 213 yards, a touchdown. Chunt was obviously rolling. Nick Chubb, especially 95 yards on TD as well. But yeah, the Texans are hanging around despite, their team being in utter chaos, the whole Watson situation, like you mentioned. Tyrod, kind of, having a decent start to the year, but then obviously goes down. So now it is Davis Mills, and he'll get the start on Thursday night here. But I think at the end of the day, not a bad outcome for either team. The Texans, like you said, you're expecting to be terrible. You're competitive in this game after starting 1-0. So again, not going to be a great season for you, but not too bad. And Browns, end of the day, you got the win, didn't quite cover there, but able to come away with the victory and even things up at 1-1 there.
Yeah, he was just the backup to Rivers, so he was in LA for 2 years.
Oh, he was in LA for 2 years. Okay, that makes sense.
Going back to Lynn, the old Bills coach, would make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we can stick with one of the Browns AFC North. I'm going to kind of maybe go back to the order that ESPN has it in here, but Bears Bengals. That's another one. We did see a starting QB get injured for a while, so we did see a bit of our first extended look at Justin Fields here. I know we saw them kind of in plays at a time versus the Rams in week 1, but we saw a bit more of him, and I don't know, obviously it wasn't great, but made some mistakes in that game, but at the end of the day the Bears were able to come away with a victory in that one. Was it a defensive touchdown? Did they have one of those?
Yeah, it was
Roquan Smith, right? Yeah, Joe Burrow threw a pick 6 in that one, I think it was. So not too much to say this. I'm glad we got to see an extended look at Fields, though Nagy has kind of doubled down here. We're going to be, if Andy Dalton's healthy, we're going to be seeing Andy Dalton at least for now. So we'll see what his status is. If he's healthy, he'll be good to go. Otherwise, he'll be using Justin Fields in his first start. I don't know, but again, I think even Big Cat was saying this on Monday here, but you know, even if he wasn't great or is playing like equal to about Andy Dalton, at least the running threat's there, right? Like it's another phase of the game that you have to prepare for.
Yeah, because even just think like credit the Dolphins that first drive, they marched downfield in Cincy. But then after that, it was kind of just crickets for everyone. It was a couple field goals, and then right around the fourth quarter got a little wild. Like once Fields was in the game, like he wasn't really moving the ball that well, but pick six really helped, and then he got him down to the goal line. Missed a couple shots. It's his like first game. Like I think he had like Komet open, but he missed him for a little bit. It was 20-3. Then again, like I said, because again that was all during the time where Burrow just wouldn't stop throwing picks. I think he had 3 straight picks, and then at the end of the game, it got all dicey because that big touchdown to Chase, and then right after that, Fields did throw a pick, and then they gave early a touchdown away to Higgins. So then it went from a 23 game to 2017 game. Really quick. And then it was, I thought they were going to lose, like because they had a 3rd and 8. Fields wasn't looking good, but then long-winded answer to this, he was able to run for a first down on a broken play, extend the ball, move the chains, and I don't think since he had the ball back, it just is something that Andy Dalton wouldn't do.
Yeah, exactly. And I do have a update for you, Mike. Quick baseball break for us here. Toronto, Tampa. Toronto is up 2, but we got Randy up at the dish with 2 on, 2 out in this one. So we'll see if the Rays can do us a favor since we've most of us past Jared have punted on the division. So again, Sox have seen that broadcast part. We'll get to it later on. But just wanted to give you a quick update there. But yeah, like you said, Bengals kind of tried to come back a little bit. The Bears do edge it out. Both those teams now 1-1 on the season, and yeah. So I guess we can kind of keep moving along here. Again, we'll just see what happens. Who ends up being healthy in that game? Who starts for Chicago week 3? Speaking of maybe not being healthy, we're gonna go to the Rams and Colts. The Rams able to hold off. We had on teams like it was not weird, but I feel like usually if I make bets that aren't by maybe 10 or so points, I feel like I either win or the other team wins. I don't get many instances of a team winning but not by enough, and that happened to me twice on Sunday.
Teams winning but not covering their less than a touchdown spread.
Yeah, these like 4-ish, like 4.5 to 3.5 point spread is not quite working. That was another instance where I did take the Rams in our picks, but then also did a separate bet there too. But yeah, the Rams were able to come away with it. They're 2-0, Colts 0-2. Stafford still looking in, so hard to not blow out of proportion there. But 19 to 30, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kupp still lighting it up. 9 receptions, 163 yards, and 2 TDs in that one for him. But Colts were able to hang around for a while, but then now we're getting the report that Carson Wentz has not 1 but 2. Is it sprained ankles that we're dealing with here?
Yeah, I think so. So
yeah, not quite sure how you do that in the same game, but that's what we're dealing with Carson Wentz here.
Bases juice.
The bases are juice now. Yeah. So yeah, just an interesting one there. We saw the Rams, like you said. It seemed like I'm trying to see this game. It seemed like it was a situation where the Rams were always in control, but they never really pulled away.
Yeah, it was the second half. Henderson got the touchdown to go up 10, and I thought it was going to be kind of smooth sailing. But then remember, it was the punts for the up back. The snapper hit the up back.
Oh yeah.
So like.
Oh yeah, that's where the Colts had 8 in the third quarter. Yeah.
Yeah. So very annoying.
Joey Wendell. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all for that one. Rams looking good to start. Colts 0-2. I think they'll get better, and I still think they have a chance at this division, but certainly not the start you want for them, especially in the Carson Wentz era. But they did have a tough go of it, having to face 2 NFC West teams to start the year between the Seahawks and Rams. Though they had them both at home, right?
Yeah, so they're gonna have to go to San Fernando, Arizona.
Right. So 15 not 15. I can't even do math. So was it? How does it work with home? This home and away? Do you just have do you alternate years? I didn't even realize that. 9 and 8 home and away games.
It's the bonus game is by conference.
Oh, so it's like one conference all have
This
the.
year the AFC has 9 home games.
Okay, that makes because it'd be tough if they had one less. And I don't think this one has the
It's just
distance
the
for Joey
bonus
Wendell.
team is generic across, so it's the team you played like 2 years ago's.
Same, yeah, lineup.
Yeah, so
No, I
like,
knew that. That makes a lot more sense. I'm glad they did it that way because then next year you just do it with NFC, make it pretty easy here.
it's like that.
But yeah. So again, tough
Washington,
start for the Colts. What'd you say?
that's why
Sorry.
Washington's going to the Bills. I believe that's a game this week.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, because we host Dallas too. All right, but yeah, again, tough start for the Colts. I do think they will rebound though. But a game that I don't think we have to spend too much time on. Bills just kicked the ever living snot out of the Dolphins down in Miami. Tua gets knocked out early. Brissett doesn't really do anything. Ends up being 35-0 total. Josh Allen. I guess Bills are back.
Ribs. That's all I have.
Ribs. But yeah, obviously, yeah, not a pretty start. I mean, the Dolphins are able to get the Week 1 victory up here, but yeah, not a great outcome against the Bills there, who are back after their Week 1 loss against the Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much to say on that one. Well, why don't we go to Pennsylvania for a couple games here, Mike? We'll start with the 49ers and Eagles. This is one that I think I liked Philly. I think I had an off week for picks. I'm going to see if I can calculate it for next time, but I don't think the picks work too well for me this week. But pretty low scoring game here, only 28 total points. Pray for the guy at the water cooler that took the over. And yeah, I mean, Hurts showed up in his mask, kind of yellow suit there, and didn't have the best outing. I mean, 12 of 23, 190 yards, carried the ball 10 for 82 and a touchdown. And how about the weirdest stat line of all time, which I realized the Eagles didn't even score on? Quez Watkins, 2 receptions, 117 yards. That's it.
Yeah. It's funny when you listen to like the recaps on Monday and it's like the stuff you missed on Red Zone. Like I had to like look up that play just to see what it was like.
So what did happen? So it was a 91-yard touchdown. How did they not score?
That the play started on their own 3.
What's that? The place? Okay, but they didn't even get a field goal.
I think I did see like when it cut to that game later on, like when they're.
But, yeah, I could have also heard it wrong. Could have been like they scored.
It said missed field goal and a turnover on downs. So I'm guessing that time it was 3-0 Philly. I doubt they missed like a 23-yard field goal, so I wouldn't be shocked if they went for it on 4th and goal and didn't get it.
Yeah, like we just got this huge play. We run the one.
Yeah. Like 6-0 is gonna do nothing for us. Let me
Yeah.
get any more takes in this game. I can probably look up that exact drive.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna need.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's just another instance where, Jimmy kind of just again he's. I know we've heard probably a lot of talk about this week, but manages the game, right? He didn't really screw anything up. It was against 17-11. It was really, really low scoring there, but was the official total? 22-30, again, very efficient, 189 yards and a touchdown. Debo had a nice game as well. 49ers D obviously did a good job keeping them to just 11 points here. I think Bosa had himself a strong game on the D line. I want to get his total. So was it two sacks?
This first half is goofy. Punt, 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 field goal, punt, and then blocked field goal, punt. And then it's 1st and 10 from their own 3.
91 yards. Quez Watkins.
Yeah. 91 yards to get down to the 6th. False start to get back to the 11.
Oh.
But then it's DPI, so then it's 1st and goal at the 1.
Oh.
Incomplete, 3-yard rush for a loss. Hurts gets 1 yard. They go for it on 4th and goal at the 3. Incomplete pass. Then touchdown. Then touchdown end of half. After a 97-yard drive, so like that's got to be like you're dominating that entire game.
If you're that changed the whole game, honestly. If you think about
7-3, punt, touchdown, punt, field goal. So then it was 17-3. They get a touchdown, but then they never had the ball back.
Are we just recapping the whole game now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there wasn't that many drives. This is one game. I'm like, what's going on here? Like nothing's happening. That's been a lot of fun.
Nothing did happen. Yeah, no, I mean that changes the whole game, man. I mean,
classic 6 play, 9 yards, 4 minutes.
Yeah, a game that's decided by such few points. Yeah, that really changes everything there.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? I can't remember what else I was gonna say there, but yeah, I mean, just yeah, obviously a weird one. The books. I'm gonna try to never forget that stat line for like the rest of my life. Because the absurd thing is, okay, then he still caught like a 26-yard pass. Like that's not like short. A lot of times it's like, oh, he had 2 receptions for 120 or like 120. It's like, oh yeah, we got like a no, it's bad example. Like 2 receptions for like 57 yards. Like, oh, one was 50 and the other one was 7. It's like, okay, well, that's like, that was also a really long reception there. So we'll keep that at the bank here.
Also, that running back scenario is just it's like the Ravens.
How hurt is Mitchell?
I don't know, but I know Hasty's hurt.
I know Hasty's hurt.
And then I've been riding Trey Sermon because like he was amazing the preseason, but then he was like a healthy scratch, and now he like only got a couple carries. And
yeah,
and he got hurt on one of his carries, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows there, but yeah, so we'll keep an eye on their situation on.
Really?
What?
It was a Mitchell shoulder injury, Hasty's hurt, and then it's like, oh yeah, Trey Sermon has a concussion, and I looked, he had 1 carry for 8 yards. He got concussed.
Oh boy,
it's like Tardy when he broke his arm the one play he played in high school.
Oh god,
he broke his wrist. Sorry,
I did not know that. Jeez, but that's really funny. But yeah, kind of going across the state of Pennsylvania here too, Mike. How about the Raiders with a 26-17 victory there to start the season 0-2? And again, the way to really almost like how we do the like guy on pace for like what 320 home runs after 2 home runs week 1. David Carr on pace for MVP race right now. 28 of 37, 382 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. Again, maybe not that level, but it seems again through 2 games, maybe the best start we've seen for David Carr so far.
David?
Oh, that's my boss. And his brother. Derek Carr, sorry. Yeah, so I think again, he's been kind of like maybe the definition of like a slightly above to average quarterback in the NFL the last year, ever since he's been drafted. So I don't know, starting out strong after just 2 games so far this year.
Yeah, it's the ninth year bump. Remember that conversation? Like a couple years ago, it's like the 7th year.
Was it usually 6-year bump, 7-year bump? Yeah.
But yeah, even like you said, he's just like the definition of mediocrity. I know our boy Trilly did his quarterback tiers recently.
Yeah.
He did it like you're fine with like things like Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers. Of course you're okay. Then he gets into like the Lamars and like that crop.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now if everything is perfectly perfect, you can win a Super Bowl this year with them. And that's like the Stafford. He's like Stafford's like the first guy on this list because he's like right at the edge because like now
he already is. Yeah,
he is in the perfect situation now, and I think he could win. But like I didn't put it all in him. He can just be Matt Stafford and win in this. Yeah. And then he finished that crop, and he's like, okay, now these are like this next tier is like the okay, but you're not winning anything. And the first person on that list was Derek Carr.
Okay, Mike, let's play a little.
He's like, he's right.
Let's play a little game here. What? Rank them. Derek Carr, Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins.
No, it's Stafford, Carr, Cousins.
Okay. I was gonna just do Carr, Cousins, and then I was like, I'll throw Stafford in there. But yeah, I think that's right.
Really, that was like 8, 16, 19.
Yeah.
I think Stafford.
Wait, what did you say?
It's like 8, 16, and 19.
Stafford 8. Yeah, I just think of Stafford as like a mid-tier, but I mean, yeah, I guess he probably is towards the top now, especially in that offense. But yeah, I think an impressive win from the Raiders.
He wasn't like he's like you're not projecting like.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones like 27. It's like, yeah, I guess like after 8 quarters of football, I kind of, you know what I mean.
As long as Zach Wilson's behind him.
This is also after only 1 week, and I think he was like,
yeah.
You know, he did it after week 1. So.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So where was I? Oh yeah, Raiders again. Good win. I think Steelers aren't great, but they're a decent team. You go in there and you're on the East Coast again. Start the season 2-0.
Another team. Hey, are they going to be 3-0?
3-0. Because who do they have?
The Jets.
Yes. Moving on. Easy question there. And yeah, this NFC or AFC rather, West getting kind of flipped on its head here. Again, early season and depends on who you play, but uh, Broncos, Jags. So Broncos are also 2-0, 23-13 win, steady Teddy. Actually had himself a bit more of a steady day there, 26-38, 34 again versus the Jaguars, 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. Got to see the Cortland Sutton coming out party, which almost cost me one of my matchups because he sucked last week and I put him on the bench, but he was awesome. So probably got to put him back in and he'll suck again. But yeah, he had himself a great outing. And yeah, I don't know. The Jaguars just are not good.
That first
Simple as that. Cool. What'd you say?
The first drive was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. I was driving over here. Was that Lawrence or did like one of the backs score?
It was Lawrence.
Okay.
That was the play that broke red zone. It was the red alert that froze, and then the only score because like I was literally just waiting at my friend's house to get a backpack. So I was like watching red zone in the passenger seat, and that was the only score that changed during the time it was out. So I'm just assuming it was like a 21-yard touchdown. So technically, it was on the red zone that wasn't on it yet. So
yeah. So and I think I even mentioned this to you, when we were kind of hanging out. For the most part, not a great early witching hour. There was not a lot that was happening. I mean, I think Eagles Niners was maybe like the closest game at that time, and trying to like rewind everything we said. I guess Bears Bengals got competitive. Rams was kind of close, but nothing really crazy happened at the 1 o'clock hour.
Yeah, nothing it was very like nothing really happened.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like there was some games kind of close, but there was
even just like fantasy scores. I feel like I looked at everyone's like projection. Like I mean, they've definitely recovered in the as the weekend carried on through the 4 o'clock days. But I feel like everyone's like thing kind of went downhill. Like your projections.
Yeah. Sutton was awesome. Yeah, earlier clock hour again, as I know because I was just staring at him on my bench like an idiot. But
playing Sutton in Cup, so I was like, okay, I already lost that matchup.
Right. But then the 4 o'clock window got a lot better. The 4/425 window. Why don't we start with the one that was the most lopsided? That was Falcons Bucks. Falcons looked like they were kind of hanging around for a little bit in this one, and yeah, I mean, it just. But there were 2 pick sixes, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because that game was 28-25 at a certain point.
Yeah, but then it was. But they were both by what's I'm making on it. But anyway.
Yeah, it was Godwin, TD, Mike Edwards pick. That was just the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Mike Edwards. Okay.
Yeah, because Cordero.
Mike Evans. What did you say?
I was gonna say Cordero kind of had himself a game and got back into it, but
yeah. But I mean, yeah, Mike Evans coming out party. He also another guy that did not put up numbers despite Tampa being awesome week 1. Brady totaled 276 yards and 5 touchdowns. To really pull away late in that one, again, those 2 pick sixes obviously help because that's a 14-point swing there. But yeah, Evans had a great day. Matt Ryan, despite 2 pick sixes, wasn't terrible. But again, Falcons, things are not looking good in Atlanta. 0-2. Bucks go to 2-0.
Pitts did some things. He got a couple catches, 73 yards. So
Kyle Pitts, yeah. Again, that's your bright spot if you're a Falcons fan. Julio Jones out the door. Ridley as well, really solid. So it's just, again, I love my guy Matt Ryan, but it might be coming to the end for him, at least especially in Atlanta. But
Rosen, so
well, someone else would get picked because that's Josh Rosen's life. He's like the who he needs. You know who he needs?
Who?
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh yeah.
What is that? PT keeps saying the better looks like anytime he gets there, someone flourishes. We might be seeing it out of Davis Mills. But yeah, he needs Tyrod Taylor to come in there, start, inevitably get injured, then Josh Rosen will be really, really good to go. But yeah, the other 3 games were a lot closer. I guess we'll start with the one that didn't get as insane on the end. Why don't we go to just trying to remember how these both broke down. So I think Tennessee Seattle 33-30. Tractor Cito was insane in this one. 35 carries, 182 yards, and 3 touchdowns to really lead the way for Tennessee. Lockett had another great game for Seattle. 8 receptions, 178 yards, and a touchdown. Really back and forth. But at the end of the day, I think Tractor Cito is really the storyline here as they're able to pull away 33-30.
Yeah, the game really flipped when he had that 60-yard touchdown because, first quarter you had the 63-yard touchdown to Lockett. And I believe then I think
Yeah, that play was wide open. No one was near him. He was like playing center field
yeah,
essentially.
Parsing got a touchdown to make it 17-6. And then that's when they robbed Hooley of the touchdown, remember?
Right, where he didn't get the feet in bounds. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big shift. They had to settle for a field goal, and then I don't know how, but Seattle was able to get down. They were up 24-9 at halftime. Right?
24-9, yeah.
It really could have been 17-3. And then they traded some touchdowns, especially another big play by Freddie Swain. They go up 14 points
Yeah.
early on in the fourth quarter, and then Henry broke off that 60-yard touchdown and really flipped the switch. It kind of really was like, oh, one possession game, and then they were Tannehill and company were able to pull together a drive, and they were able to tie it up. So it was just Henry run that was gonna suck the life out of the 12s.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, a competitive game. I think it was a situation where maybe it was one of those situations where the team that needed it more won. Although you could argue the Titans with their crappy division, maybe the Seahawks still needed it more, getting to 2-0, could try to compete with the Rams and everyone else out there. Yeah, you're right. Wait, yeah, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, so maybe they did need it more at the end of the day. But I think Tennessee really just didn't want to start 0-2, and yeah, they were able to kind of edge them out. There was a really good game, probably like again one of the most competitive games of the week. But really, they kind of just got better as the slate went on. Like you said, there was the 1 o'clock's kind of boring. We have a few fours here, and then we'll get to the primetime game in just a sec. But then there were 2 that came down to the wire here. I think we were in the living room, kind of ready to head out. We're like, why don't we catch these last couple games before we both make our way home here? And it was again 2 big kicks down the stretch here. And I guess we'll start with I guess the order it happened in. Actually, I can't remember which one happened first. Do you want to do the make or the miss first?
Let's do the miss.
All right, so we'll start in the toaster and the Vikings and Cardinals. Again, the Vikings came out strong in this one. Again, I was big on the Cardinals. Again, another situation with a team I picked one but did not cover. So again, the Vikings kind of punched them in the mouth early, but Kyler had another awesome day: 29-36, 400 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, also had a rushing touchdown in there too. Rondale Moore, people, I think people called him Kyler too. Another kind of short guy wearing the single-digit number, 7 receptions, 114 and a TD. That was another crazy play where Kyler kind of went out of the pocket, went kind of opposite side of his body, and just launched it downfield, and Moore was wide open. So Cardinals were looking pretty strong for a while, but Vikings stayed in there. It really came down. The second half was even, right? 10-10 for the second half score.
A lot of Dalvin Cook. He didn't get any touchdowns, but he was kind of torching up that Cardinal B.
Yeah, 22 carries, 131 yards for him. And yeah, one of those situations where it seems like, not that the Vikings didn't play well, but it's like I was watching, like, because Kyler made a few weird plays at certain points too, but really came down to the end. It was like, it looked like a situation where, like, man, the Cardinals really left one on the table here, but we're obviously, bailed out at the end.
Yeah, because like I said, it was 20-7 early. It was a lot of big plays for Minnesota, and then like I said, it was Cousins kind of really like calmed down. There was a lot of just Cook keeping the ball going because. Let me say that they finished with 33 points. Like there wasn't this field goal, but again, there was a pick 6 by Kyler. There was a
long pick 6, right?
Like there was the goal line stand because they were down by 2, the Cardinals, and they had the ball first and goal, and they couldn't punch it in. Hence why they were only up by 1. So that was a good goal line stand.
Right.
By Minnesota, and they kind of went 3 and out. And they needed another stop for their D, and they were able to like sack Kyler and keep him in the pocket to give Minnesota a chance and a second chance, and they were able to get in the field goal range. But then Minnesota kicker.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. Who was it?
Greg Joseph.
Right, Joseph. Okay, I do remember him. So
in a loss.
Shades of. Oh, dude, this Phillies game was nuts.
50-yarder to tie the game last week just to lose, and then this was a 37 to win, and he couldn't hit it. So
yeah, again, classic Minnesota. I mean, that's usually more of a playoff situation, like we saw with why am I blanking on his name now too? Jesus,
Blair Walsh.
Ty Forbath, but it was not. It was Blair Walsh. Mike, did you see the end of this Phillies game?
No, I threw on the Cardinals Brewers.
Oh, I just have MLB Live on. I know you have your package there, but Real Muto pretty much hit one to the corner, Bryce had to like dive head first to win the game when he got there. So that was kind of nuts. But yeah, again, Minnesota kicker couldn't figure it out. So really, it just shows you how much the ties can turn. You're talking about Minnesota getting a huge win in Arizona. Both teams are at 1-1, but no, the kick does not go through. Vikings now 0-2. Cardinals moved to 2-0, like you said. And now everyone but the Seahawks 2-0 out there versus Vikings kind of in the basement of the NFC North with the Lions, who we'll get to later on. But the other big game at that time, which did come down to a final kick, was the Cowboys-Chargers game. And again, I think there was some weird clock management. Mike McCarthy was saying he couldn't see the clock, which is kind of why it came down to a Legatron 56-yard attempt. But at the end of the day, he does bail out his head coach, and they do win 2017 again, 56 yards on that one. And yeah, really just a crazy finish that these are both happening at the same time. One miss, one make.
Yeah, it's kind of like a really weird game. There's some picks and there's field goals. Like, yeah, like a lot of like 11 play, 82 yards, interception.
Yeah.
64 yards, field goal, 64 yards. Like a lot of like long drives that kind of really stalled out. So it was just kind of like an overkiller type of game, and it was really competitive. It was good. Tony Pollard, man, 13 carries, 109 yards, and a touchdown. Like,
Mike,
yeah.
Is it Tony Pollard's backfield?
I don't know. I mean, Zeke did it in the end zone. 16 carries, 71 yards. Not terrible, but
it's really not. I mean, you're over 4 yards to carry. That's really not bad. But yeah, great outing from Pollard. Yeah, 13 for 109 and a touchdown. So yeah, that run game either together. I mean, that's what almost 200 yards rushing from your offense there. But like you said, kind of some weird drives that didn't quite pan out.
Not be able to run against Tampa.
Yeah. But I mean, Herbert had a good game, Keenan Allen as well. But came down to the field goal, two evenly matched teams, and this one was able to go through. Did you have another note there, Mike?
This is the 2 turnovers for just key.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Cowboys get away with that one. Both those teams also 1-1. So
a lot of 1-1.
Cowboys now. Yeah, there are a lot of 1-1 teams. I have 2 different fantasy leagues where I have a 10-team league where 8 teams are 1-1, and I have a 12-team league where 10 teams are 1-1. So a lot of parity going on.
Yeah, one of my 12-team leagues, there's 2 2-0 teams, 8 1-1 teams, and 2 0-2 teams.
2-0-2. Yeah, it's nuts.
I know I referenced earlier, Charvey, a nice 0-2 with a negative 6-point differential.
Oh, you hate to see it. You really hate to see it. I don't know. I'm 0-2 in one of mine. Not looking. Things aren't looking great in that one, but also 2 2-0 teams. I know I've way too many teams here, but
yeah, 2 2-0s, 1-1, and an 0-2.
Yeah, I just have one extra 1-1 team. I'm mad at myself. I glanced over this when we were talking about the Browns Texans game, even though I kind of teased it before.
I was going to bring this back up to you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to do that before we get to the primetime game. We need to rewind. Time travel bit. We're going to go back to that Cleveland-Houston game. I think I wasn't ready for the transition or something like that. I think that's what it was.
Because you were talking about the Panthers. I was like, oh, it's...
Yeah, you used the upcoming TNF to kind of... I think that threw me off. But yeah, okay, we need to rewind, go back to David Culley's decision on, what was it, 3rd and 15. They run a 13-yard pass completion. 4th and 2. There's an offsides. So you can either make it 3rd and 10 or decline it and go for 4th and 2, assuming you're going to go for it. He does decline it, and then they end up punting. What is going on? How do you ever make that decision?
Field position.
I know you're kidding, but I mean, they literally just ran a 13-yard play. If you don't feel comfortable going for it on 4th and 2, accept the penalty, see what happens on 3rd down. So, I mean, again, I know you're in this weird rebuild, maybe / kind of tanking season. If you're Houston, even though they haven't played well, I mean, haven't played badly through, like you said, 6 quarters, especially. Absolute mind-blowing decision that happened. I couldn't believe it. I obviously we kind of heard a bit of a recap on Monday, and then I looked it up on Twitter. It was absolutely insane. Stefanski was beside himself. He could not believe that was actually happening, and I can't either. It's
at what point in the game is it?
I don't know. I think it was kind of early, but I'm kind of making that up. I have no idea. But either way, that's just it just doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you go to 3rd and 10 if you don't feel comfortable going for a 4th
If
and
there's
2?
one team to like play field position against, it's like not the Browns, because even if like you can stop them, I feel like Chunt will at least give them like a couple first downs. So like in that, I feel like if you pin them inside the 3, I think they can probably like push their way out a little bit to flip field position.
I don't care. I don't care if you're playing the Super Bowl 50 champion Denver Broncos or the Jaguars. You don't do that. It doesn't make any sense. Like there's not field position when it's 3rd down and 4. It's like, what are you worried about throwing incomplete passing, having 8 less yards to punt? Like that's such a loser mentality. Even if you are not a good team, and I know David Coley's like a weird choice there, but yeah, that I heard that was completely beside myself. But again, I had to rewind to that. So then kind of wrapping up here, the 2 primetime games. One Sunday night, I was driving home. Caitlin wanted to watch some of the Emmys, watching some stuff on the side. I was able to tune in for, again, I think most part, especially the end, which is when things really got nuts there. But absolute firepower in this one between the Chiefs and Ravens. And again, a lot of the primetime games have been great, and this was just another example of that.
Kind of a hot take.
So let's hear it.
Mahomes cost them the game.
Okay. Which when he threw the pick? Or
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah.
I'm getting like the points of the game confused, so I can remember if that was later on or not. But yeah, I mean,
Kelsey touchdown. What that was that was 11.
That was nuts.
Yeah,
Kelsey almost willed me to a victory, even though I was just down so much. He got me so many points on that play. But anyway,
it was like that was a pretty wild juncture, because that was when it was like an 11-point game.
Right, it was 35-24, right?
Yeah, because it was 21-17 and a half. And then there was that Pringle touchdown that he just outran the team. And there was that jump throw by Lamar to Marquise Brown, back to a 4-point game. And then right answer of Kelsey, just again willing his way in the end zone, back to him. Chiefs could have stopped in a punt. They had the ball around the field, and it's like 3rd and 8. And then Mahomes is like avoiding a sack, falling down, and just like as he's falling, just chucks it up to like Kelsey trying to make it, throws a pick.
Yeah.
Completely just the turn of the game. And that's when the Ravens score again. Don't get it. They go for 2, don't get it, and then it's a 5-point game. But you even just think like that was a pretty easy drive. That was only like half the field. Like,
yeah,
you can easily see like a good punt from the Chiefs that at least like eats up some time. So like there's like less pressure. So like like the Ravens may score, but like again, they're not really a quick hitting offense. Like especially when they already had a big play to Brown last time. Like they're probably gonna methodically get their way downfield. So when it's a 35-30 game, there's less time. Maybe there's like you only need 1 first down from the Chiefs, like something like that, instead of having to put together a drive over a couple minutes. So
and then CH.
Yeah. Tough look for my LSU boy.
Yeah. So you're putting the blame on Mahomes. It's like, I mean, there's equal blame there, I think, too, because if you just hold on to the ball, that game, plays out completely differently as well. But obviously a huge turnover there. Baltimore capitalizes. And then how about kind of down the end there? Thoughts on the whole Harbaugh Jackson situation?
I love it.
I do too. I only ask you this because of a certain afternoon program. I don't know if you're able to tune in, but just like calling it a cop out, or just like you need to coach. You need to be a coach. You can't like let your play. Like I don't know. It was just typical hard-nosed stuff from them. But
honestly, like he's not asking Lamar if he didn't already have his mind made up to go for it.
Right. What's Lamar going to be like?
No, that's fun. Like
yeah, exactly.
Like the player,
but it shows. Yeah, it works because then your player knows you trust him, but also you were probably gonna do it anyway.
He was already fired up. He literally flipped in the end zone to take the lead, so he was already.
Yeah.
That was like, let's fucking
exactly.
That was more of a rah than an actual decision.
Exactly, but I was saying it's cool because it looks like again, if you're a player in the field, it looks like your coach trusts you, and everything along those lines. So yeah, I loved it too. It was ballsy because again, you give that ball to Mahomes with any sort of amount of time, especially down 1. He only needs to get to 30 probably for Butker to push one through. So yeah.
Okay, like We both had like the -3. I'm like, ooh, get the ball back. It's probably better that Elair fumbled if you're able to stop them, and they did because like instead of Bucker kicking it, they went by 2. It's like, oh come on. Now it's like, oh, like that's actually lucky for us that they're fumbled because now they're going to get the ball back on a punt. Like who knows, like Pringle or Hardman or Hill can get behind the defense,
Right.
win, and then by
Right.
the time I thought comes out, you see Lamar come back out. I'm like, oh, the Ravens can get a yard.
Yeah. Exactly. So again, this is another situation. Again, despite the competitive AFC West, maybe again the team that needed it more won. Ravens could have dropped to 0-2 if they lose this game. Instead, both them and the Chiefs are 1-1. So, like I said, Denver and Oakland tied atop the division again early on at 2-0, and the Chargers
The only
and Chiefs
one
1-1.
we just look at is the flip side of the 4-1-1 teams in the AFC North.
Exactly, that's true. Yeah, completely tied up there. So, yeah, but almost again, Denver. I mean, Giants and Jaguars. I kind of expect you to be 2-0, and then like you said, they got the Jets now. I expect you to be 3-0. So, yeah, electric Sunday night performance. Glad to kind of catch the end of that one there. And then last night, a game I didn't really tune in on. We had a lot. We were trying to frantically paint a room before we have some guests coming. But Mike, I'm sorry, you were right.
Yep, the don't want to work game.
Yeah, Rogers is back. He looked dead last week and came out in your full form. Again, I knew they were going to win the game, but just I thought Detroit might hang in a little bit more. And I still missed one because again I was in all out panic last night again to talk more about one of my fantasy teams. The league where I had Cortland Sutton on the bench, and then I also benched Hollywood Brown because I didn't know if he was going to play. Christian Kirk only put up 9, both of them put up 20 plus. I had to wait out Aaron Rodgers, who was a man on a warpath, and DeAndre Swift, who didn't do anything too crazy, but between the two of them, they got it really, really close. And there was one situation where Rodgers just threw a touchdown to Jones, and the next thing I know, they're back on the goal line again as Mike's doing a weird double take at his TV.
Well, first tight Cardinals Burgers game. It was first and second one out. Pena hit a deep ball to center. I mean, it wasn't okay on second, but they tagged up to third. And like, if they make the last out at third, geez.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
oh boy, I had to see what was on your face there. But yeah, again, I missed this too, but it was late in the game and I was just kind of tracking it. And yeah, like I said, they scored, and next thing I know, I'm like, Packers in the red zone. I'm like, oh, is it still like that weird thing with the fantasy app? Like, because like, oh, they still have to kick the ball off, like to the extra point. Like, no, they're down there again. Luckily, Aaron Jones was able to punch it in because there was a third down play where he threw to the end zone and when it complete, and I like exhaled, and then I saw pass it over. I was like, oh, that's not the worst thing if they could just punch it in. But they were in the shotgun, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna throw a touchdown. I'm gonna lose this game. Luckily, he handed it off to Jones.
Well, that was my thing. Like, I've always played in 2 weeks. One, I was getting absolutely destroyed in, but luckily I had Adams and Hawkinson, so it was like I at least like got my points up for the weeks. And yeah, I put up 112 now, respectable. And the other one I was up 40.
Yeah.
So like, it ended up being like a 12-point game. But if that last touchdown went in, I would have been like, this is 5 points. Like, that's like I would have been like, whew.
Yeah. Rogers basically went. He was Mr. Hand and I was Spicoli. I think you'll manage to just squeak by. Yeah. That's essentially what happened to me because I won by like 2 points after all that. So that's really, again, very personal touch there. But yeah, he kept feeding Aaron Jones all night, whether it was 3 passing and 1 rushing touchdown there, and they did what they do and they beat up on the Lions in Lambeau. So really not much to add there. That's pretty much it. Again, Rogers just awesome, and yeah, they take care of it. They don't want to work. They just want to bang on the drum all night. And that's what they did. So that pretty much wraps up week 2 for football. Like I said, we'll kind of get some more let's just pick the game now, Mike. Mills Mafia going to Carolina. Or where is the game actually? I don't even know.
It's in Houston.
It's in Houston. Mills Mafia hosting Carolina. Davis Mills getting his first ever start. Panthers, I think, are 7.5. Is that still right?
It is 8 what I have.
It's 8 now. Okay.
I just placed it.
You placed it?
I placed a tease. A Thursday, Sunday tease.
Thursday, Sunday tease. All right. I might ask you more details about that. But yeah, I'm riding the Panthers. They're my team. I didn't ride them last week. I just think, again, all these games have been great, so probably will end up being close just because that's how things go. But I don't know. They just seem, especially with Davis Mills, Panthers are a better team, I think. Sneaky good team. Sneaky, pretty good team. So I like them on Thursday night.
Frisky.
I'll add that to the docket. Yeah, they're frisky. I'll add that to our docket here and add up our scores. But yeah, another Sunday in the books. I think we might be watching in person on Sunday, which is exciting.
Yeah, in my 2-chair place.
Your 2-chair place. It's so funny because I'll talk to you more after. Some change about plans about to change is the destination where our girlfriends are going apple picking. But I was like, Mike can come here. I'm like, she's like, oh, so I feel bad if people want to go over to if he wants to have people over to his place. I'm like, it's 2 chairs. Although you mentioned something about auxiliary chairs. I don't really know what that means.
Yeah, I got some in the closet, the guest room. Okay.
We'll figure. Yeah, we'll figure something out. But yeah, so that'll be fun too. Once we go on to week 3, there we'll try to hop on at some point with a bit of a preview on that one. And yeah, I guess to wrap up the week, we'll get into some MLB. I guess before we do that, I guess the only other side note we have, Ben Simmons requesting a trade since he's not going to play for the Sixers again. Won't put on an NBA uniform unless it's for another team. So hate to see the process fail, but here we are.
Sad.
Sad. I wonder where he'll end up. The most I've seen so far is Minnesota. See if that happens, but
cool. Well, transition, I'd say the Cardinals won again.
They do, yeah. So was it 10 in a row for them now?
I believe so, especially against some good teams that pretty much have solidified themselves as that wild card 2 right now.
Yeah, so looks like I did want to hop over. So yeah, that's again a good transition there. I thought we were gonna have 2 good races. We might be down to just 1 good race after, like you said, the Cardinals on a bit of a war path here. Up 3.5 now on the Reds, 4 on the Padres and Phillies. So yeah, 10 in a row it's 9 in a row, but I don't think this hit yet. So it might actually go to 4 and 4.5 respectively, because I think it said 9 on MLB Network before that game just ended there.
Yeah, there's been with Cincy, they like getting kind of being their own worst enemy with just their last stretches of just the month of September, like even with a little bit of just doing some scheduling stuff.
That's all right.
Like going back to right around the 20th, like August 30th, right around September 1st. But 2 out of 3 of the Cardinals, they lost. 2 out of 3 of the Tigers, they lost. 2 out of 3 of the Cubs, they lost. 2 out of 3 of the Cardinals, they lost. 2 out of 3 of the Pirates, they lost. 2 out of 3 of the Dodgers, they lost.
Just not getting swept, but not winning any series.
Yeah, but this is like the Pirate. Like, I mean, like, yeah, like you gotta beat the Cardinals. They're the team in your division. Like the Dodgers. Yeah. Now, like this was just last weekend. Like they were already falling behind you in those games. And the Pirates, man, there was too many games to the Pirates. So they're kind of their own worst enemy there. And then San Diego kind of just again not taking care of their own business, and then just the Cardinals swept them in St. Louis this weekend, and that kind of buried them. And
yeah,
with St. Louis, I mean they have a tough schedule going in, but they've taken care of business of now sweeping the Cardinals and now taking the first 2 in Milwaukee of this 4-game set. So
that really sucks. I mean, between football, like I said, just having a kind of whirlwind weekend, they got swept by the Cardinals. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, that is like nail in the coffin.
Yeah. So.
NL West heating up again. They keeps going back and forth. I feel like that division between Giants getting a sizable lead, Dodgers kind of coming back. So both in action right now, I believe. I think the Dodgers are tied 4-4. I don't know what inning that one's in, but the Giants playing the Padres as well. So a couple NL West matchups there. 4-4 in the 8th for the Dodgers in Colorado, who again, it's the Rockies at home, so it's no easy game there.
It's a 6 in the ball club. That's like a wild card team.
What'd you say?
It's like a wild card team.
Yeah. So I mean that's heating up a bit, at least, even if the wild card's getting a little bit more predictable as far as the NL. It's going to be the loser of the NL West hosting the Cardinals for in all likelihood, because again, especially because Cardinals obviously getting right hot at the right time here too. NL East, again, it still looks like it's going to be the Braves, but the Phillies are trying to inch up. Again, they had a huge win tonight. I was mentioning earlier, JT Realmuto came in. I think he was pinch hitting, actually. Hit one down the line. Harper came sprinting around third with the hair flowing under the bandana there. And was able to slide into last second to get a win against the Orioles. So again, huge there. But again, a little bit more predictable on the NL. Again, that the West to see seeding wise will be good. AL, all three divisions pretty much locked up at this point. But the intriguing thing is the wild card right now, which has gone a lot in the Red Sox favor. They get their sixth straight win tonight, and unfortunately the Jays win as well. So right now, I'm assuming is the Yankee game final.
Yeah,
Yankee game final. They won. So all three teams win. So right now it's Boston sitting 1.5 games up on the first wild card spot. Toronto sitting in the second wild card spot, and the Yankees a half game out of that. Just one more loss than the Jays.
Tough time since we didn't really mention it on the Saturday show, but last Wednesday I was annoyed at the final in Baltimore when I was watching the game live.
Yeah.
But I was recording. I didn't notice it. That was when the what was it? What do they call it? The grounds crew got ejected because it was raining, and I remember it was raining, and there's some bloop signals, and just like
yeah.
So after that lucky win by the Yankees, they lose 1 to Baltimore, and they lose 2 out of 3 at home to Cleveland with Garrett Cole.
Right.
Screwing the pooch.
Rough outing, getting booed off the mound. You hate to see it, Mike.
But just luckily the Rangers are just that bad, and they've taken the first 2 there Monday and Tuesday. So
yeah. So and I'm trying to go back there just to. So the Red Sox, they have just a 2-game set. One against the Mets tonight, and then game 2 tomorrow night. Then they wrap up. I'm sorry.
Friday but we'll be even again
with games played.
With
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Again, that's get rid of these half games for me. But essentially, yes, the Yankees will. Oh, does this happen again? No, it's a replay. God, I felt all-man victim. I know Machado hit a home run earlier to make it 1-1. They're doing a replay of that. But also, how about that incident over the weekend? Why don't we quickly pivot to that whole Machado Tatis incident in the dugout? And so what happened? Did Tatis get ejected from that game? And Machado's like pretty much just like, you're too good. You can't be doing that. We need you.
Yeah.
Which I mean, good. I still say good on Machado. I mean, you forget Tatis is 22 years old, like really, really young. Machado's 29, I think. So, bit of veteran leadership. And now look, they're dapping each other up after the home runs. So we're all having fun here. I think it was just a situation where he's right too. I mean, again, you're in this frustrating series against the Cardinals where you're in the midst of getting swept there, but you do need him. You need your best player playing well, and you can't have him getting ejected halfway through the game.
Yeah, especially because it gets swept.
Exactly. So. But yeah, to go back to the Red Sox here, so yeah, like you said, well, everyone get caught up on games because we're caught up with the Jays now, right? We're both off tomorrow. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Or no, I mean on Thursday. Sorry. So
us and the Yankees are off, and the Jays they're playing the Twins again. So they have 4
great.
Twins.
So it's Red Sox. They have one more against the Mets weekend series, hosting the Yankees, then heading to Baltimore, and then wrapping up in DC. So again, not the toughest schedule if you're a Red Sox fan. The Yankees series by far the hardest.
Then the Yankees and Jays play next week when we're playing Baltimore, and then
spicy.
Yeah, then luckily like Washington isn't as bad as the Orioles, but that's a team that hopefully the last weekend of the year you can probably want to sweep. With Tampa playing, Tampa's playing the Yankees, and then
the Jays. Yeah, I'm trying to get like the final. So yeah, Yankees wrap up against Texas. Come to Boston, go to Toronto, and then because it host the Rays, and then
the Jays have Twins, Yankees, Orioles.
We'll wrap up against the Rays tomorrow.
Yeah.
Twins.
So
the Rays, hopefully the Rays can get a win tomorrow.
Yeah, they're down in Tampa. They'll have to go to Minnesota for 4, and then they're the reverse of us. This is our last home stand. This is their last road stand. Whereas the Yankees, home now, finishing up a home stand. But I think that's like their next 6 on the road, and then they finish with 3 at home.
Okay, so that makes what do we have? 10. So 10 games left.
Yeah,
for the Red Sox.
11 for them.
What's the record they need?
I just think there's a lot of winnable games left. Like
I do too. I think they could go 8-2.
I was gonna say 90. 95 and 67 seems very reasonable.
Because I mean, hopefully can wrap up the Mets and then 2 out of 3 versus the Yanks. Maybe you drop one in DC. I don't know. I just think, yeah, I think
There you go. Division.
I heard Jared was pumping that today. That's like, it's too many games, man. Who do the Rays play? They play obviously the Jays and Yankees.
So they have one more game with the Jays. Not what you want to see over the weekend with the Marlins coming to town. But then after that, they got to go to Houston and then New York.
So you're saying there's a path?
It's a Mike failure. The Mike failure.
Yeah.
It was one bad loss. I think it was like post Houston. He was like, "There's still somewhat of a like." I was into the path until they lost in Houston, and then he did it for one more week, and then I think they lost to someone else. But it was just like, this is like the Houston post Houston.
Yeah. Wait, that's so funny, Mike. I said they showed the replay of the Machado home run, and I like fell for it, and then he actually did just hit another home run. So 3-1 Padres.
They got the rookie,
but yeah. So again, I'm limited. I just have the MLB Network kind of bouncing around here. So yeah, Chavez 2 home runs tonight. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's quite the extreme path. Jared, again, I listened to the start of Section 10, and yeah, Jared kind of put that thought. I'm just like, it's too many games to make up, not enough games to play. But I guess it's the only spin zone if the Jays win a game on 10. It's like I'm still rooting for the Rays to win, but I'm like, there is that. But
it's the consolation.
Yeah, it is. But again, it's most likely not good. They have to lose their last 6 games of the season on top of dropping another game in the meantime.
Yeah. Just root for Houston, and
I'll definitely root for Houston.
Yeah, and then hopefully we can just take care of enough business with the Yankees and the 3 in Baltimore, where it's like, well,
we're playing with house money at that point. Yeah,
the Yankees can sweep it as long as we can take 2 out of 3 from Washington. We can maybe do it. Like,
we'll keep an eye on that pipe dream, but for right now, we're just shooting to, I think, host the wild card.
Well, that's the thing. I think we should take care of business. Like, big win tonight, the Mets. Like, that was a much closer pitching matchup on paper. With Stroman and Erod probably in the Mets' favor. I think Stroman had a sub-3, and Erod had a 5 shot. For tomorrow, it's Sale versus McGill.
Yeah, which again should tilt in our favor. But yeah, I mean, coming off again a strong weekend again against the Orioles, Mike kind of saw a nice dub on Friday night, a good time at the game. Obviously finished the weekend well, big win against the Mets tonight. So just got to keep it going. Just keep it going. Hopefully getting hot at the right time, much like the Cardinals, and can build some momentum going into the playoffs here. And yeah, we'll kind of just see from there. A very intense, again, last 10 games of the season for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Once we get to Friday, all teams involved will have 9 left. So it's really the home stretch at that point.
Yeah, and then over the weekend, matchup-wise, we have got Pavetta Cole, undecided versus Evaldi, and then Cortez Erod.
Okay.
So
all right.
Pavetta outdo DeGrom this year. People forget. So
the rotation slowly became competent once we got everyone healthy and
back,
right. We got
Wait,
who's the? Oh, are we skipping someone because we have 2 days off?
Yeah, I think I heard today that like 6 of the last 13 games are going to get started by Evaldi and Sale. And hopefully, if you can take care of the Mets, you can take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, sweep the Orioles, maybe that National Series. Maybe
line it up.
Like maybe we can afford an Erod game on Friday to clinch home field in the wild card game.
And like Houck out there.
Like how call up the Cocker, Seabold, or.
Oh no! Who is the guy that started that one game when we were down there?
Oh, Cutter or whatever.
Cutter Crawford.
Yeah,
bring him up. Start the Sunday matinee if we have a clinch by then. But wishful thinking.
Yeah, just get the National Series where if we just need to get like a couple, or one maybe 2. That's kind of all.
Okay, I got another question for you, Mike. Say we're able to line things up. We get to rest everyone the right way. Who you starting wild card game? He's thinking.
It was at home. I want Nathan.
Oh, really differs the home versus away, or is splits insane?
I know his splits. You can talk to your opinion. I can
Yeah,
with this.
I again, I just don't know if Sales had enough lead up time to put that on him.
Yeah, because like I
And
think if it's cooking, like we
I want to go Nate. I really do.
just because like I think like we've seen it, like he's gone and like pitched like deep into some ball games.
Yeah, no, I want to go Nate. That's my answer. I mean, again, it
Because
might differ on the
that's
road,
all.
but
We starting Sailor, maybe getting max like 5, 6 innings, and then
right. I'd
yeah,
rather
if you
pair
got
him. It's
especially now with Whitlock going on the
I
like,
know.
you
Because again,
can't.
I wouldn't hate pairing them, but yeah. So again, because if you can get everyone healthy, you're talking. You can get a 4-man rotation going with again Uvalde, Sale, Rod, and Pavetta. Like I think you're in decent shape, but
Okay,
yeah, we
splits
got to get there first.
splits in 62 and a third. So it's 12 starts. He's pitched 62 and a third innings and has a 4.62 ERA on the road, up to make a 4-5 record. And then on his 18 starts at home, he's pitched 111 innings with a 2.99 ERA with a 6-3 record.
Can you give me the ERAs again? 2.99. What was the road
2.99
one
and
was?
4.62.
What was the road one?
4.62.
Oh, so yeah, a lot different. Still, I probably still ride with him either way, but
Yeah. Because did you hear the stat that like Sale has given up like he's giving up 12 runs. 4 have been unearned. And then of the 8, 7 have been home runs.
really,
And he's given up 5.
jeez.
Yeah, because he was on the mound for that grand slam. So that's why it was 4 of the runs there. The Verdugo one.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, we've seen, he hasn't been exactly lights out in the playoffs either. So, not that that's like a reason. I mean, if he was like dominant all year, I'd still give him the ball. But I mean, Valdi's been that guy. I'd rather live and die by him in the wild card game.
Yeah, it's tough. I really want to play the game at home, just because I feel like the Jays getting that dome. It's just going to be balls flying,
Pete hit your sign, huh, Mike?
and then, huh?
Pete hit your sign on the monster.
Yeah, he did. And then the Mickey Mouse field at Yankee Stadium, Gallo can hit like a pop fly, a towering pop fly, and go 330 feet and just land the second deck. So
hopefully Devers could do the same in that situation. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. Not like I said, 9 games to go after or once we hit Friday. So one more game for the Sox and Jays, 2 more for the Yankees. Or yeah. Anyway,
I think we're gonna get Arroyo back over the weekend, which would be good because I know theoretically, like our 9 best hitters, we don't need Arroyo, but when it comes to defense, we're gonna have a pretty tough decision.
With him and Iglesias. Oh, but he can't play in the playoffs, right?
That's why I want to get him back soon. Like Iglesias has done a great job for us. Like pat on the back. He's been a catalyst.
That's so dumb.
A catalyst of this winning streak. And if we end up doing something, he'll be a main cause. So dumb. You got to start getting people at bats that are actually going to be playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
Because if you think about it, who is locked for the lineup in a wild card game?
And I mean, obviously, Kike.
Yep.
I mean, Kike, Renfroe, Schwarber, the big 3. Well, I mean, you're probably playing one of them in the outfield, right? Between Schwarber and JD.
Yeah.
I think you need both bats in the lineup. I'd say you still start Bob. Vasquez, obviously. So I guess you're just like, stuck at second base, right? Unless you could find another.
Which means
What's that?
I mean, like Arroyo is pretty much like the guy you're looking for. Which means that Verdugo Red Sox is on the bench in our game.
No, all right. Well, can I throw some? Well, what if you put Kike at second, start Verdugo in center?
Then that's a
rough outfield.
A rough defensive outfield. I mean, Renfroe
is Verdugo not a good fit? I feel like I think Verdugo is good, but I don't know.
Well, you think it because he's fast and can steal some bases, but I don't know. Just that Tampa game, I know it was sunny out, but like, has he not played in the sun before? he gave up a grand slam. Alex Verdugo gave up a grand slam.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think,
and I did hear a stat. Again, I listened to a lot of the 10 today on the driving back from the end of my work day and back and forth from the gym, so that's just fresh in my head. I think they have the Red Sox pitchers. Their BABIP against them is like the third worst of all time.
really.
Like apparently our defense is awful.
I don't know. It's like, do you just try to hit your way out of it? Because again, the best lineup on paper is the one I just said, but yeah, again, defensively, yeah, you're either giving Kike or Verdugo. What'd you say?
It's Charlie Blackmon made a sliding catch.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, I think those, yeah, like you said, those are your 9 best hitters. Whether that works in the field, I don't know.
Well, that's like maybe if that's a good thing to have though. Like when it comes to like if it's one game, I might want to go full defense, and then like okay, if you go
have the bat late.
If you go down like 3-1 and it's the 5th inning, like okay, get Arroyo out of there, put in Verdugo, and then
switch. Yeah, that'd be nuts if Verdugo doesn't start a playoff game.
Yeah, and then and even just think, okay, if you get into a 5-game, 7-game series, like you can kind of like you can risk in a long series having Verdugo out there, and if it's back, it's hot, like really hot, like you can be like
right
there, fuck defense. But in a 1-game scenario, like you saw, we were up 7-1, and we ended up losing. So
yeah. No, I totally see what you're saying. It's tough. I didn't even think about that. Verdugo just not being in the lineup.
Well, because you were like, oh, so you're just sitting like, I'm like, who's starting? And you pointed out the outfield. You did this, and I was like, keep going.
I know I'm missing someone because I'm like, I feel like I've said it before. I'm like, the best offensive lineup probably is.
Oh, it's like this whole starter. It's like, oh, get Arroyo back. I'm like, yeah, like Arroyo's a good like depth piece, but like, what?
He might need to be your starting second baseman. Wow, yeah, like you said.
Like, I'm trying to think who's on our bench right now. Like who's gonna make a 25-man roster?
All right, let's convert Schwarber back into a catcher.
Who's gonna make a 26-man on like the offensive side?
We're going along with this. I love it. We're getting real in depth on the. Again, we got to make the playoffs first, but I'm like, because how many? Is it 26 even for the one game? Is it 26 for the one game, and then you get 25 the rest, or is it 26 all throughout?
I mean, 26 is just the norm now. It's 26 to 28.
Do you get anything more for the one game? Because if not, you probably do you go somewhat thin for the wild card game? Like, do you go like 13-13 or
just assume? Let's just assume 13-13. So who are the?
Okay, fine. Say Arroyo starts. You're talking what? Weck for like blanking on this roster even.
Yeah, Kevin looks back.
Yeah, apparently. What do you think?
Is Jonathan Aruz making a playoff team?
He might. Between him and Moon, yeah. I mean, I think one of those guys has to make it.
Let me just look at the Red Sox active roster.
I know. I have Iglesias in my head. It sucks that he can't make it.
No, he's always starting every night.
I know. That's like a dumb thing. I'm really mad about that. Great, yeah, great radio as we look up, but yeah. Who? What'd you say? Oh, the mayor. Yeah,
we got him earlier enough. Yeah,
that's tough, man. Yeah, wait. Yeah, literally. Because I would just say the people. Wait, do we really have this many hitters active right now? Yeah, we can't have Iglesias. 5 or 6 and 5, and
so we have 15 pitchers.
We do? No, because I think we have
15-13. I'm looking at their active roster.
Yeah, 13-13 right now, right?
We have 28. It's 15-13.
Oh, 28 right now. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. I mean, I would say, yeah, maybe the 13 you have right now, and then swap Iglesias out for Aruz or something like that. Yeah,
because Arroyo is part of the roster. He must have got activated.
He is, yeah. I saw that. So that might be it, Mike. It might be as simple as that. Cut 2 pitchers off, and then to swap out Iglesias for Aruz. It really might be that.
I'm trying to figure out. So who's in the bench here?
So in that scenario we painted, it'd be Verdugo, Wecky, Shaw, and Aruz.
Bucky's on the bench here. Aruz, Shaw. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're struggling with something I just told you, but
no. I was mentally doing that now. Either that or like Danny Santana, get him back in the mix, or.
Oh god, no. We need like a middle infielder at that point. That's why Aruz might make it, because it's like because I'm like, okay, now your backups.
He's enough to earn it.
What did you say?
He's not enough to earn it.
Who?
Aruz.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, no, like, no, we don't need another like weird first baseman center fielder combo that we have with Danny Santana. Because then, like, you have a catcher. In that scenario, what'd you say?
Santana used to be a middle infielder. I don't get this. He used to be like in MLB 19, the show. He's like a utility knife. He can play anywhere.
Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking in that scenario, say you start a Royal, you have a catcher, a center, or an outfielder, a corner infielder, and then you probably need a middle infielder. So that's another reason why, on top of like again him playing pretty well, I'm just like I can't get over how bad I am about the old Iglesias situation. It's just like
this roster now, like
it should go through like an approval process. Like okay, we think it's not like the
like when we signed Brandon Phillips off the street in 2018, like Iglesias was on the Angels all year. Oh my god.
Even that kid, exactly. What just happened with Gavin Lux? Did he just get thrown out?
It was a pass ball, but it bounced.
Did it go off that brick wall
so fast. You throw him out.
Yeah. No, even that I think it just shouldn't be a situation almost like you see in fantasy where it's like almost like a rental, like, oh, we'll drop Charlie Blackmon. I don't know what I mean. Like, not that he's like that good anymore, but like a really good player on a bad team, like, oh, we'll trade him to you like in September. Like once you realize it's like no, it's Iglesias. It's fine. Like, we should all be able to do it. But anyway,
very deep.
Yeah, so
pick him up. Like,
yeah. So, but man, yeah, we got deep into baseball, especially the Red Sox, which is awesome. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Again, another one of these long up. We'll probably be more of this, right? A little longer in the week, a little short on the weekend when we make our picks.
Yeah.
And it's easier to recap stuff more in depth than do it a preview, I think.
Yeah, and then even if we have like you said, you're probably going to the game on Sunday. If you miss a weekend, just have the picks written down. We can kind of go over them as we recap if we have to miss a weekend here and there for the fall.
Yeah, I think I can figure something out. We'll talk offline. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. We got another book of football in the book. Another slate of football, both NFL and NCAA in the books, and then baseball really coming out of this home stretch here. So exciting times. October's a great month because you get again the meat of that college football. NFL's in full swing, and then playoff baseball nothing beats it. Great time of year.
And we're getting close to it. We're in the 20s. It's the 21st.
Very, very, very close. 21st night of September.
Yes.
And that's a great way to go out with some Earth, Wind, and Fire. Thanks everyone so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.